I'm drastically changing my Outschool strategy this year compared to years past, from the classes that I teach to my goals for the platform. So in today's video, I'll talk about my main goals for Outschool this year, and I'll show you exactly how I'm tracking my weekly enrollments, my communication with families, my weekly pay, and my progress towards my goals each week. I track all of this in a project management software that I use called ClickUp, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. Hi there, if you're new here, my name's Katie Geddes. Make sure to grab my free 30-day guide to teaching online that's linked below. So let me just start by saying that my strategy this year on Outschool is very different than years past due to one big change. In years past, a big part of my schedule was semester-long classes. These are classes that are 8 weeks or longer. Usually mine were between 8 and 16 weeks at a time. And mine were 40 minutes per class and up to 6 learners at a time. The pros for semester-long classes are that you get paid up front. So this is really cool, especially if your class is like 3 months long, then the students pay up front, you get all of that money right away, and they're also committed for the entire semester class that they have signed up for. Some cons for this, however, for me were that I was feeling really exhausted by this and a little bit restricted just because my schedule was set for up to 16 weeks at a time. The 40 minutes was also feeling a little long, and I actually think 6 kids in a class for me was a little bit much, especially for some of my more advanced guitar students. So my solution is that this year I'm going to be doing semi-private lessons that are just an ongoing section, 30 minutes a week, once a week, with 2 to 4 kids per class. This way it's more flexible for them. If they need to miss a week, they can unenroll for 1 week. And for me, if I need to cancel class 1 week because we're going to go on vacation or something, it's much easier to do so. There's also much less upfront planning that's involved because for semester-long classes, you have to map out the entire course curriculum. And for the ongoings, I can just do that 4 weeks at a time. Also, it's much easier to track my payments from week to week because with ongoing classes, you get paid weekly. So will I do this forever? I don't know, we'll see. But I'm excited to try something new and different. Are you making any big changes in your online teaching business this year? If so, comment below and let me know. All right, so my Outschool strategy this year is to focus on 4 main classes. My 8-week beginning guitar class, our semi-private lessons, our private lessons, and my elementary music classes. Our beginning guitar class, yes, is a semester-long class still, but it's also our most popular class and it's like the top of our funnel. So it brings students into those semi-privates or privates in the future. Also, a perk of my elementary music classes is, first of all, I love teaching that. I used to be an elementary music teacher in the classroom. And it's also mostly homeschooling students, so it's a group class that I can teach earlier on in the day. Having super clear goals in your teaching business is so important, and so simplifying it in this way is so important. For example, I have 2 main goals for our Outschool classes, and they are to get 25 students in our semi-private ongoing lessons and to get 40 students in my elementary music classes, as well as, of course, build up our private lesson student base for my co-teachers. But those 2 goals, they're very trackable, they're very digestible, and it makes me feel much more motivated to work towards them in the new year. Do you want to learn more about how to set up a funnel in your own teaching business? Make sure to check out this video next to learn more about that. Okay, finally, let's talk about tracking goals and how I manage the students in our studio throughout the year. I do this using a project management system called ClickUp. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my computer and show you what that looks like. All right, welcome to my Outschool students ClickUp board. This isn't actually my, exact board. I just made a template or a copy to show you kind of how I use this. So if you look here, there's a few different types of organizational lists here at the top. So right now, this is the private lessons list. There's also semi-private lessons, elementary music, beginning guitar. Those are the 4 that I use the most, as well as this is how I organize finances. This is my flex students, the students that didn't re-enroll for the semester, ukulele, garage band, those we teach, but not as common. And then what we call dead leads, which I'll explain in a bit. So how this works is you can organize things by status. So you'll see here, I have a bunch of different statuses. So this is my students that are my private lessons, Miss G, but I might have teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3's private lessons. Here's like a garage band students. These are like the elementary student statuses that we use, ukulele, beginning, intermediate, upper. Those are my semester-long classes that I do. Semi-private lessons, and so on. So that's how they're organized by status. So you can see that over here on the left side. So this would be where we mark the student's name, the class time that they have, the pronouns, the instrument that they play, the length of their lesson. And then what these are is very helpful. This is the exact link that I could click to message the student in the classroom page. Then this is the exact link that takes me to message a parent. So if I click this link here, it'll bring me to all past messages that I have with that parent. And if I needed to contact them with a new message, then I can do so from there as well. So that's really helpful. And then I have just notes. So I might want to say someone is related, maybe there's some scheduling notes that we can put down, something like that. And then the weekly earnings, and this is after Outschool's 30%. So my private lessons, we charge 40, so we get 28 after the takeaway, the 30% takeaway. So I just put 28 there, so it'll calculate, weekly how many I would be earning if I had that many students. And re-enroll is just if they've been re-enrolled for this new semester as well. So this is where I would put, of course, students for my other teachers if they had them as well. Then we can go over to my semi-private lessons. So these are the ongoing group classes that I'm going to have for my mostly guitar students this year. So the way that this would be organized is I might put what section that they're enrolled in. And some differences are I also have like the classes that they've completed with me, just because that might help me to see, what level they're currently at. And so what other students we could pair them with. That would make a lot of sense. And then this is, of course, scheduling stuff. So if I was doing a new semester of classes, I'd be reaching out to families to invite them to re-enroll. So I might send one email here. And once I send the first email, then I would check that to, show myself that I sent them the first one. If they didn't respond, I would send them one follow-up email and then I would check here. But if they don't respond to the follow-up email, then I would mark them as didn't re-enroll. And so that is actually what we call a tag. Right now I had tagged them as currently enrolled, but I can go down here and say didn't re-enroll and they would go over to this list here. They would be taken out of this list. Or if they were didn't re-enroll, so I might contact them next semester and say, hey, we missed you this past semester. Would you like to rejoin? If they still don't respond, then I would probably mark them as dead lead, which is just, students we've had in the past that clearly aren't interested in joining anymore. So we should probably stop contacting them. So anyway, if a student is marked as a currently enrolled, then they'll show up over here. And this is how I manage the finances. And I know how much we're bringing in every week. So you'll see here, this is just all the students that are currently enrolled, what class they're in, what section it is, and how much money that's bringing in each week. And so at the very bottom, you'll see that it calculates for me how much that would be weekly that we would be bringing in. And I can still put in my teacher's pay. So I might put how much we get from Outschool for those private lessons, but then I would put like a negative number for how much that student or that teacher would be earning based on how much that they're teaching. So then that would take it out of the weekly total. So this is profit, not necessarily revenue. So that is how we manage. And you'll see too that I also put kind of my goals at the very top of a list if it applies to that list. So for semi-privates, my main goal for 2023 is to get 25 semi-private lessons. And so I can say that so far we have 15 of that 25. And same thing for elementary music. My goal is 40. So I might have 26 of 40 already enrolled. And so I know how many exactly I need to work towards, gaining for enrollments. All right, hopefully hearing about some of what I'm doing in my Outschool business gives you motivation and excitement to make some goals of your own for your teaching business this year. If this video was helpful for you, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.